Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Luckily, this time we have not procrastinated. Today we have a couple of interesting topics. You can notice my background has changed. I'm back in the 254,
Mhm,
finally.
mhm.
Bash, how have you been?
I've been good, man. Chilling.
What's new?
Nothing much, except the fact that you just forgot to say intro.
We're going with that.
Yeah, it's easy. Yeah.
So today our first topic is prenups and alimonies. So would you like to give us the definitions, Bash?
Definitely. This is a very entertaining topic, man. So, prenup is a prenuptial agreement, or prenup for short, is a written contract created by two people before they are married. A prenup typically lists all of the property each person owns and specifies that each person's property rights will be after the marriage. So basically, it's like if I own this and you own this, and there's no sharing, it's just mine is mine and yours is yours.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's alimony, which refers to a court ordered payments awarded to a spouse or former spouse within a separation or divorce agreement. So basically, like you said, maintenance.
Yeah.
So, um, what brought me to talk about this is that there's this NBA player. Let me just get up his name. It's called Steven Jackson. I don't know if you guys watched the video, but I'll link in description. So he met this girl, like I told you, who was just living an ordinary life, 8 to 5, and he was a basketball player. So of course he was bringing in enough racks. So
Mm-hmm.
he met her, he fell for her, all of that, la di da di da, and he proposes to her. So before all this, of course, they had a discussion of what would happen if they got married. And he said, I want you to sign a prenuptial agreement. And he said, like, not to offend her, but you weren't there when I was, working my way through the court and in the
Mm-hmm.
gym, lifting weights. And these are his quotes. So she's like, okay, yeah, yeah, we can do that, all and that. So 3 months to the wedding, or I think 2 months, if I'm not too wrong, he's already spent like $400,000 on the wedding. And at this point, she hasn't signed a prenup. But this whole time, he keeps bringing it up. She extends the date of like, oh, we'll do it later, we'll do it later. But he's accepted paying all this because it's like it's her wedding, it's her day that I enjoy. So
Mm-hmm.
when they go to the church to pick the pastor and the church they're going to do it in, she requests if she can have her own priest.
Mm-hmm.
So he says it's like he's had his own priest for a while, but like at the end of the day, it's like it's cool. It is your day, so you have your priest. So
Mm-hmm.
the day of the wedding arrives. He's in his room with his boys and everything. They're just discussing everything, and like he's telling them she hasn't signed the prenup yet. So one of his boys is like, "Then what are we doing here?" In all honesty, so he's like, "Nah, nah, I love her, and I want to trust her to be able to make the decision that she will sign it. I don't want to coerce her in anything."
Mm-hmm.
So um, so when the pastor comes, actually not priest, sorry, actually meant pastor. So when the pastor comes to the church, he comes to the groom and he tells him that
Yeah.
prenup are against the church. That you should not be able to ask a woman to sign a prenup in the church. So this whole
Mm-hmm.
time that he's been telling him to extend the date and watching her own pastor was to come and influence him to not, or rather deter him to not get the prenup. So
Okay.
he's like, okay, you know what? Wedding's off. So she starts bawling out, she starts crying, everything, tears, wailing. She's like, oh no, no, okay, okay. She's begging him to like reconsider, like I'll sign it now, I'll sign it now. And he's like, look, I'm a grown man. I wasn't born yesterday. I know how the law works. And if I
Yeah.
make you sign now, you can go to court and say this is under
You are
duress.
coerced. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you are emotionally stressed and you are coerced into doing it and it can be broken. So he's like, you know what? I love you and I trusted you and you failed at that. So it's like wedding
Yeah.
is off. Okay. So he just went and partied with his boys. So my question to you is is
Mm-hmm.
there an issue with prenups in this world? Was he wrong for canceling the wedding?
I guess we had spoken about it before, and I think it's also the issue of a tax bracket. Like, where
Yeah.
do you fall? If you look at like someone like Jeff Bezos, for instance, they didn't have a prenup, but when they broke up, he agreed that she put her career aside to
Mm.
assist him to get to where he is. That's a completely different thing. But I feel like the normal mwananchi, these are not the problems they face,
Yeah.
sadly. But realistically, there are a lot of people out here just waiting to eat your money. So
Exactly.
I understand why he broke it off, because it's a fear of, listen, I came from a bad neighborhood. You have to also look at the upbringing of this person. He's really put in the work to get to a position where he can even say, I'm afraid I could lose my money. I don't
Yeah.
want us to break up, but there's potential of it, because also those type of people in those type of careers, I guess there's a lot of temptation. So I think you just have to be careful. That's just how I feel. Because I don't think it's fair to assume that after I've done all the work, I've put in the work, now I should settle for someone one day coming and saying, you know what, I'm tired of this marriage and I'm going with half of your stuff. You were not there when I was tarmacking, as Kenyans call it.
Yeah.
But also, let's not forget, prenups don't exist in Kenyan law. So we're talking about foreign lands. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's a
a
different
completely
situation
different ball game.
because it's
Yeah.
like if in Kenya now we don't necessarily do alimony, we do what 50-50,
Mm-hmm.
where half of which is mainly the man's property is given to the woman.
Yeah.
And I understand how it ran back in the days because women basically owned nothing back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But now women have been able to, I would say, rise up against the oppression, not fully,
Mm-hmm.
but rise up to the point where they're able to be independent, fully independent. So if we come in where we're both earning basically the same amount of money, and then now we divorce, and then now you want to say you want half of what I own, would that really
So
be?
I think sometimes we forget that a lot of these rules came from culture, right? Men usually have a tendency of remarrying very fast. That's why your wife goes with half, so your kids can have some form of inheritance. Men, they get bored or they start seeing, I can't do this housework. You look for a wife, it's a wrap. Now there's somebody else in your house. Of course, I understand what you're saying, that it's not fair, the whole 50-50 thing, but realistically, your kids won't have an inheritance if another lady comes into the home that you are in. So a lot of it is based on it's for the kids, not for, because
Oh,
the
okay.
woman could be making money, that's fine, but what you acquired together, if we don't split it 50-50, you'll remarry, you'll build another home for that lady, but I might not be financially stable enough to build a home for now my kids because we had them together. Remember
Yeah,
that. Even
yeah.
though we've divorced, there's that understanding of what will we leave for our children in terms of inheritance. So I think that's also where it stems from. With that said, I don't think it's fair because I've also seen, like in the US, we're talking about it, Pink was paying her husband alimony. Why? Because she was worth more than him. But in Kenya, of course, we still have this thing that women should not make more than their husbands. So a man, even when men are being paid alimony, it's being swept under the carpet. So he cannot even complain about it because his friends will make so much fun of him. This is now the toxicity we talk about.
Yeah.
You know that your wife maybe is making 1 million a month, you're making 300. The life you had been living, even if it was 20 years, maybe she's the one who does the house shopping or she's the one who has the mortgage. And it was never an issue until now you divorced and you noticed, well, my salary cannot sustain the lifestyle I was living. But your friends will be there telling you you're taking money from your wife.
Right.
What's the problem? That's a very weak man move, unrealistic things. But that's
Yeah.
just African culture. But try that with a woman. Wow, you can even end up on the front of nation, my friend. Hmm?
Trust, man. You still not denying me my rights. How am I
How can
supposed to
he
feed my
refuse to pay me?
children?
But you see, the thing is also, let's remember that alimony also usually covers the children's upkeep
Yeah, but
in
like,
Kenya.
why
So,
should that have to be given to the mother?
You're going to
Can I
give it
not
to the
take care?
kids if your kid is
No, can I
10.
not take care of my own kids? I can pay you school fees. I
But
can
now
pay his
the things
clothes,
that happen
his
in the
books.
house,
See, I can buy food for the house. They have to give her money. I'm
yes.
providing for my kids.
Let me tell you
How do I
something that
know
you
she's
don't
gonna use that
understand
to take care of the kids though? How would I know?
about about
There's enough cases where the woman is just use the money to go take care of herself.
of course, there are a lot of people like that, but I think it's based more in the fact that women are the ones who take care of the home most of the time. But now, of course, we have those guys who are going to buy cars, I don't know, buy weaves. I've not refused that that's a thing, but majority of the time, even if you look at the legal system, kids usually end up with the mother, unless she's incapable of taking care of the kids or they're 16 and they can decide who they want to stay with. But majority of the time, it's set up like that because if you were left with your father, for instance, when you were 10 and left with your mom, the lifestyle would have been completely different. You know, now
Yeah.
you're older, you can say, yeah, okay, I can choose who I want to live with because you have a better understanding. But even me, if my parents were to split, if I think about it at 10, it would have been a mess if I stayed with my dad. And it's not because he's not good at being a dad, it's just those small things, the house domestics that, for lack of a better way to put it, I think women are better at. Of course, nowadays that's not the case, but our parents' generation, they were just learning how to be parents who are there, especially for men. For our parents' generation, it was more of a thing of your dad pays school fees, he pays for the house. That's all you need, I mean, and pocket money. Why else are you complaining?
Yeah.
But with our
That's
parents, they learned.
very true. Yeah.
So I think that's why it's still set up like that. I don't necessarily think it's fair or equal in any way, especially in Kenya. But yeah, we still have a long way to go on a lot of these things.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
do I
hmm
have to give, like, the question is, do I have to give the woman a check, or can I just provide with the food and pay school fees and all of that? Then she can pay her own rent. I mean, because she's living in the house herself, is it not? I can't put
Yeah.
money in the entire house for her and the kids.
I don't know. I guess it just depends on the legal system because these things you go to court. So it's
Yeah, but in Kenya,
dependent
it's not
what
like a
the court
contract.
agrees. Huh?
Like in Kenya, it's like it's different because in America they consider the marriage contract an actual contract, so there's
Yeah.
clauses and all of these
hmm
things. But in Kenya, it's already defined in the constitution
Yeah.
that I'm giving you half, regardless of anything. Even if I'm poorer than you, I have to give you half.
Yeah.
Which is like I told you, I ain't getting married in Kenya. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. We're going to the white man's land.
Yeah. At least there, it's a level playing field.
Yeah.
I
Otherwise, yeah,
guess.
I'm gonna be dirty. All my money offshore. Okay.
Yeah, but that's what I was telling you. I know some people who their wives have a higher net worth than them, and
Mm.
this happened due to the fact that, let's say, your dad was super rich. You know the way now their father's generation, super rich. You never really knew how much he was worth.
How much? Yeah,
Passes
yeah.
away. Now you're reading the will. Someone is telling you you're worth 100 million Kenya shilling. Your husband is just looking at you like, what? And I think it's an African thing. I think, honestly, I believe there's this mentality that, if we're not at par, this woman will career me. But it's not even her fault. At the end of the day, she didn't even know. She found herself in that position. So is it really fair for us to sit and say, like that type of stuff? Now, she should not give you half because it's an inheritance. But in the
True.
US, she could have been made give
To
him
give you
half
in
if
half.
they divorce. So I don't know. Even the white man's land could really mess you because
It
your
could, yeah.
inheritance is not something you worked for. You just
Yeah,
ended
especially
up
if
with it.
yeah, especially being an African. But knowing my family, ain't no inheritance.
That's what you think until people dip.
I no, I will actually say okay, okay. Maybe I don't know. Let's see. Let me. I don't know. Maybe not say let's see. Not good.
Yeah, knock
Your
wood,
father,
my G.
yeah, yeah. But you're
But
right
like
though.
homes are assets that you would inherit. So it's just dependent.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
personally, we buy the house. We can split it. It's never that big. As long as the money I genuinely earned, like if you were in there with me, it was an NBA player, playing those layups. I ain't giving you those rats. But inherited, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, we share it, Spread the
But
love,
let me
spread the
ask
love.
you, even on that same thing, so like for instance, Conor McGregor, right? So
Mm-hmm.
he's just gotten married.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people that will tell you dating a boxer, a professional boxer, is a job by itself, right? So, for instance, this guy gets plundered by somebody. Your job now becomes after the nurses leave, you're doing ice baths, you're checking his wounds. So you're trying to tell me that person does not deserve some of your money?
No, they do. Like, I mean, especially with Conor McGregor's situation, that his wife now has literally, she's been his rock since he was
Yeah.
nothing, bro. Like, he
Mm-hmm.
literally left his job and was nothing. She took care of him. He
Mm-hmm.
deserves like rats, bro. Like guaranteed. He
Yeah.
doesn't even know. Yeah. So it's a different situation because there's that. Then there's also with Dr. Dre and his wife and how he
Mm-hmm.
met her when he was already Dr. Dre. So she
Mm-hmm.
was an artist straight out of Compton, but she's asking for 60%. So it's just like, and then women are shaming him for like not providing for his wife the 60%. And I'm just like, come on, guys, come on.
No, I get that because I mean, personally, even me, if I was worth more than you and I was doing it before, I
Mm,
don't think I have to share with you my money. That was
yeah,
my blood and sweat and tears, my friend. Where were you while I was in the dirt?
yeah, definitely.
But I think it's also who you attract. It's also the man's fault.
True.
You have to look at the person you're getting into a marriage or a relationship with. If you don't see the red flags from the get, my friend, be prepared for a mess. That's
Yeah.
just how I feel about
I
it.
think we also do the wrong because when we meet a girl, we're like, listen, quit your job, I'll take care of you, I'll do all this for you. And I'm like, fam, what are you doing? Oh,
Right?
what are you doing, fam? Like, you're just
Mhm.
trapping yourself because now she's gonna be like, oh, he made me leave my job. Oh, he got this house, he told me to just stay at home now. Now you have to literally provide for her the lifestyle you gave her because that's like,
Yeah.
what else does she know? Yeah, that's you. Personally,
Hmm.
man, you ain't gonna get spoiled like out on the get go like that, man. You need to be making
Yeah.
your money yourself. Not more money than me or like less money than me. You can make more. It doesn't really matter, but you just need to be independent. I
Yeah.
can't be your sole provider, I'm not your parent.
There's some men who want that, and that's why they get caught in these situations. That's the
Very
problem.
true. Very true.
Okay, so the next one was we were talking about it the other day, and I thought it was really important, the misuse of petitions.
Yeah. So
There's a lot of that in the US.
it's become different because I feel like maybe like 5 years ago, petitions were actually something serious. People were trying to
Yeah.
petition a certain law to be abolished because it will oppress a certain people or demographic
Mhm.
of people or something like that.
Yeah.
Or it will be to raise funds for someone in hospital or anything. Nowadays, it's just madness. It's become
Mhm.
total, like they're trying to cancel Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
for doing blackface on Tropical Thunder as a
Hmm.
petition, and I'm just like, this is not the kind of thing you should be using this for. I mean,
Yeah.
there's different platforms. They're trying to not cancel, sorry, they're trying to remove Kylie Jenner from the video of WAP, and I'm just like, is this really where we're reaching right now? To the
I
point
guess
where
maybe if you look at it, maybe then because I asked you about Tory Lanez being deported, maybe it
yeah,
actually
yeah,
makes sense to have a petition for that because you're putting it to a government to remove someone from a country. But for a long time, I was just like, you guys, why can't he face the brunt of the law in your country? Why do you want to deport him
yeah,
to a country that has softer laws? That's the question I was asking a lot of people. Why would you send him to Canada to be prosecuted there? Why shouldn't he be
because
prosecuted where he shot Megan Thee
yeah, where
Stallion?
the crime happened, yeah, that doesn't even make sense.
Exactly. But I think people are just petty because they also released that petition on his birthday. So you can imagine he's like the whole
No, those are
experience. You
trolls.
shot someone, then on your birthday, that's what's trending. Deport
Yeah,
to release.
delays.
And
I
I'm just,
mean, these are just trolls out here misusing a platform that's supposed to be helping people. I mean, there's certain
yeah,
things you do that make sense, like where you said canceling Robert Downey Jr. for the blackface. I understand what they're trying to say,
yes,
but the way they're bringing it out is just like it's just for jokes
yeah,
because they know it's like they're trying to say no one takes petitions seriously, but it's because of how much people flood petitions of useless things that you don't know
exactly.
what. Yeah.
Yeah, the other day I saw even I don't know if GoFundMe would be a petition, but I guess it falls in the same bracket. It's meant to assist people in a certain way.
Yeah,
But there were
GoFundMe.
Kenyans who had set up a GoFundMe so that they could get an OnlyFans account because it's too expensive for Kenyans. Yeah, it was on social media. Yeah, they were asking for a harambe for GoFundMe to get
Jeez.
to be able to see people on OnlyFans. And I was like, you see, this is the problem. This is exactly what the problem is. You
Yeah,
guys are doing all the wrong things on platforms that are meant to assist people. So,
exactly. Because like
um,
how with Lebanese having the explosion the other day, and a lot of Lebanese are coming out saying don't give money to GoFundMe pages because they won't reach us.
see, it's just the corrupt government that stepped down that will chew that money. That's the problem with these type of things. You never know the end product. You know, that's the concerning thing. Like all these things, like the ones you see on TV where they're like, give £5, like on
Yeah,
BT to a child
yeah.
in Africa.
So
Where did
what?
the money go? That's like I'd like to see after I give the £5, where did my money go? Or give £5 to tiger conservation. Where the tigers are though.
Yeah, exactly. I want to be able to see like what my money is actually doing. I want you to be
Yeah.
sure instead of showing me sick kids, I want you to show me facilities you've built and asking us, oh, we need money to be able to add this other facility or this. All I see is sick kids. That's just what is that? That's
But I
just
guess
terrible.
it's a marketing ploy. That's the problem. Because you know the older generation, let's say of Caucasians, will feel sorry for them. So then you sign up a lifetime thing where every month they're cutting £5 from your check, even if it's retirement, and you really need that money, but you're saying, okay, these kids need my help, right? I
Yeah.
don't think it's fair that someone is eating the money somewhere. You know how
Looking at
disgusting that is to me.
it is. And in fact, it will be for a future topic once we get more information about this pedophilic ring and where all
Mm,
this child money goes to. So stay tuned, stay tuned. But yeah, it's really terrible, Cakes. It's ruining a lot of like things for like especially with Africa and being able to like provide and donate. It's like you don't know who to trust anymore. Like you give to the
exactly.
Red and the Red Cross helps, but the Red Cross can't help everyone.
Yeah, that's the problem. Because I
Yeah,
remember I saw an article where guys in Lebanon were saying, please only donate to the Red Cross. But the Red Cross is only so big. You know, you can give funds, but
yeah,
because we're a big organization, but not big enough to reach everyone. It's concerning because
yeah,
they'll keep doing it for a longer period, but the people who need assistance now, what happens to them? So
definitely, definitely.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, with the misuse of petitions and Kylie Jenner, what's your opinion on WAP?
WAP is like, to be honest, um, I'm not a big fan of Cardi B. I love Megan. I think she has
Mm-hmm.
bars for this. But so my dislike for Cardi B made me not listen to the song for a while until I
Mm-hmm.
heard it. And I'm like, this is a banger for
Yeah.
this. Yo, there's some hoes in the house. It's a really banging song, fam. And
Yeah.
it's weird that it's getting a lot of hate because like my hate wasn't because of what type of song it was. It was
Mm-hmm.
just that I'm a Cardi B fan, not that she's a
Yeah.
bad person. So
Mm-hmm.
preference.
Yeah.
So it's weird that it gets stigma because for you who do know, WAP stands for very
Derogatory
I just posted,
term.
yeah, yeah, I just posted, yeah, don't want to say it. So it's like they're getting a lot of shame from a lot of women for posting like, I mean, sorry, for making such a sexualized song. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that doesn't really make sense because at this point of time, like we had in our last discussion, women should be helping women, like grow.
We should be
So
allies. Yes.
yes, so the fact that women will go support a male song that completely derogatory
Slob
towards
on my
women,
knob, for
Love on My
instance.
Knob, or like the Whisper song by the Twins, or Lollipop by Lil Wayne, Candy
Mm-hmm.
Shop by 50 Cent, all
Yeah.
praised by women, or like rather listened to and um, upheld by women. So like for you to praise those songs and then not praise WAP doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, the other day I saw on social media someone was saying, oh, you should be making music that is portraying a role model. And I'm like, role models are not made by themselves.
Yeah.
You know, you can do a good act and end up being a role model. But for you to sit here and tell me that what I'm doing is not allowing me to be a role model, who told you I want to be a role model? That's
Yeah.
also my other question. Like,
Yeah.
who told you your kids are important enough to me for me to want to be their role model?
A role model, exactly.
But I think it's also there's also a lot of men who are like, oh my gosh, why are women talking like that? E.g. CeeLo Green. And I'm like, you're the biggest hypocrite.
Yeah, He's what? I can't believe Celia Grace said that. What?
Yeah, because he was
The
like, oh,
filthiest
women
guy.
should not be talking like that. It's not upholding women. And I'm like, bruh, my guy, you were dragging people the other day. Are you the one to talk? You're the same person
Yeah,
dragging women and saying
yeah.
that it's okay to have sex with somebody who has blacked out. Yet you're going to sit here and try
And
and
say that
tell us.
the song. That doesn't make any sense, man. First of all, Celia, I don't even know how this guy is still in the game. I always knew there's something off about him, man.
Yeah, I always felt like that, but then I don't
Yeah.
know. And then now, also, what I find funny is like the same people, the same men who are saying this song is too explicit, were there during the period of Trina, Lil Kim. So you're asking yourself,
How? And also Nicki Minaj,
what
Anaconda.
the
What's wrong with people out here, bro?
hell? These women
Yeah.
have successful careers talking about the rock. You hanged what?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, when you hanged for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Kenyan Wi-Fi. Anyway, sorry, you were saying?
Yeah, so to me, it was a bit ridiculous that the same male rappers are going to come and try and tell us that women should not be talking like this. Yet, the women who have had the most successful careers in hip hop were doing the same
Same
thing. Or
thing.
is it
Yeah.
that now you're threatened that they're getting Billboard number ones? So you guys are losing money in your pocket because two women can be successful together. You know, I don't understand. I'm trying to understand why you feel so threatened by a
Me, man,
song.
I really don't get it, man. Is it because of what women have coined big dick energy? Just you're afraid of confident women. I don't understand it, guys. Like if I was talking to men actually, I don't understand it. I really don't understand it, man. I mean, it's a
Someone
damn.
needs to explain it to us.
Yeah, you need someone with some serious masculinity in them to come
Yeah, I
explain
don't know
what's
what
going on
kind
with that
that
song.
is.
Yeah, because it doesn't make any sense. I mean, even the thing with role models is like, first of all, she wasn't making that song for kids. So I judge you as a parent of like, what are you doing letting your kid listen to such a song? You know, I mean,
Exactly.
get your shit right, bro.
Yeah. Or go and listen to it in your car because Halle Berry said,
Yeah,
I really like this song, but I can't listen to it in my house.
of course,
That's
exactly.
fine. Do it in your car, in your own
Yeah,
privacy, where you're not letting your
earphones.
kids listen to
Those things
some.
are that's what they're invented for. Personal earphones, bro. No one is
Exactly.
listening to. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I don't know, but I guess that's the world we live in. There's still some people who don't feel we're equal. So it's just one of those things. I can't collect a bag while you're feeling uncomfortable about it. That's just
The
how,
regressive nature of humans.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, lastly, your favorite topic. Black is king.
So me, I'm not even ashamed to say it. I'm not a fan of Beyonce. This is just spite. I don't like her. I just really just don't like her. And not to throw like shade on like the project she made and to the people who
Mhm.
what's the word? People who are brought together to do this project and everything. I mean, it looks from the photos I've seen, I haven't really watched it. It looks okay. It's just that it was created to show appreciation for Africans. And a lot of the tabloids are showing that even Africans have shown appreciation for it. My issue is it was released on Disney Plus, a platform that's not even available in Africa. So my
Mm.
question is, how are people watching this unless it's bootleg? And if they bootleg it, and I'm just gonna say if they illegally downloaded it,
Hmm.
then of course she's against that. But yet she made something that even us guys as Africans can't watch it legally. So I don't understand. How are you supposed to be show appreciation for that? I can't. I says I can't.
I think it was recently released on YouTube,
Mm.
and I've watched snippets of it. We can both agree that even I'm not a big fan of Beyonce, But the other day, so Jidana always talks about these things. In fact, do you remember I was telling you about that song where he says, I'm out
Yeah.
here making shillings in Kenya?
Gang shit.
So you see, this is my issue, right? So as you said, a lot of people applauded it, a lot of people criticized it, even Americans, right? But one thing we have to accept that after Black Panther, the fascination of Africa kind of died a bit. So she reignited it. There was a lot of things that even me, I felt, okay, what version of Africa is this? But you have to ask yourself also, what are you doing for your own continent?
That's true. I mean, we are
She's
here on our
reignited
platform
interest, so she's done her
right
part.
now.
But
Yeah,
you, as an African, what have you done?
to ignite. I mean, through our platform, have we not tried to bring like
We are
awareness
the
to?
lucky percentage that even have, even if it's 100 people watching our videos, we
Yeah,
are reaching outside of the Kenya, for instance.
yeah, definitely.
But
Yeah,
a lot of people who are criticizing it are not even trying to get their culture out there or African culture as a whole. So there's that issue, right? And then I had a question for you, right?
yeah.
So where do you draw the line between cultural appropriation and cultural exchange?
um,
Because some people call the video cultural appropriation, but some are arguing that it's exchange. Let me give you examples of why. Grills are considered Black American, but Africans wear them. Okay?
mhm.
African attire is considered ours. Yani, as guys, we sit here and we say that is our material, those are our designs,
Yeah.
but Black Americans now want to wear them, right? You know the Yoruba hat, the one with the many beads, like the orangish one?
Mhm.
That's considered African. The Maasai bracelet is considered African, but now those are things that are trending. So what is the difference? That's what now where you
Okay,
have to
now
draw
I've
a thin
understood.
line.
I've understood. So what I've understood is when I hear exchange, I feel it should be a fair trade, right? When you're
Mm-hmm.
exchanging something. So if let's say I want to show recognition for African Americans, right? So I'll
Mm-hmm.
buy like let's say the fade. The fade, I can
Yeah.
really show appreciation to the okay, yeah, let's say the fade. I'll do it.
Hairstyles are important to Black Americans, so I guess you
Yeah.
can.
So if I were to cut a fade, I wouldn't say look at my like African fade or anything. It'd be like shout out to the Black American fade, you know,
Mm,
just to show appreciation to a specific culture. But that's a bit more technical. I'll actually go deeper in a sense of like, that's in our African materials. Like if they were to want to wear it, there's nothing wrong with wearing it. It's the fact that they buy it from people who made it in America, not from Africans to help the Africans.
hmm.
You know what I mean? Like if I was to buy
Yeah.
Nike from made by Black Americans, I wouldn't go to a Kenyan and ask him to give me the Nikes that actually buy from the Black Americans to show
Yes. Yeah.
appreciation, or rather exchange. But if I'm
Mm-hmm.
now just doing appropriation, it'd be more like I'll take the fade and I'll make it mine, and I'll be like, oh, come get the African fade.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
So do you
it's
think
already my
that Black Americans can actually do the act of cultural appropriation?
yeah. I think a lot of
And
them.
so that means we've been doing the same thing.
No,
That's
we
why I'm
have
asking.
a lot of
Yeah.
us guys do cultural appropriation from Black Americans. It's just that our African pride tells us that those guys have no culture.
Mm,
You know, so it's like to us, there's nothing we're taking. Because even like I'm trying to really think about it, and it's really put a thought in my mind that I've just realized that I don't feel like I'm taking anything from them because I don't see what exactly their culture
but
is.
you
Because
see,
I think
now
I
that's
don't do things
where
even.
the argument stems from.
Yeah.
Because yes, you can say they don't have a culture, but you're the same person listening to their music. You're the
Yeah.
same person using their slang. So it might
Mm,
not come down to material things, but
mm,
by the time you're saying things like, even look at the UK, a lot of people
mm.
have been there fifth generation, and you're saying brav. That's not an African word.
Yeah, yeah,
So
it's not.
we've been doing it to each other. I think the issue is there's no serious cultural exchange from Black Americans and people in Europe to us. But we've been doing it because we're buying sneakers made by Black people, even if they're signed to Nike. We're going out of our way to buy Jordans. We're going out of our way to wear grills because we think it's cool. But there's for lack of a better way to put it, respect for Black people.
Yeah, I think that's where the
And
exchange
Africans.
comes in. I think that's where the exchange comes is when you show respect for the culture you're exchanging with. Because like how Diplo, if he wants an African sound, he wouldn't make his own African sound. He'd actually go work with an African to understand how the sound is made.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't just label it like African sound. He would say this is a Ghanaian sound.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with like Diplo and Major Lazer showed us the right way to do it. But there are a lot of big people who just sweep it under the carpet like, oh, we hired a couple of people, so that's cultural exchange. Of course, think about it fairly, before they would have not had those jobs. They would have not been in rooms where they could excel more and then hire other Africans. So for us to say that Beyonce was not really assisting us in any form of cultural exchange, I don't necessarily think it's fair. Of course, she didn't really look into East African artists, which for me, that was my issue even with the album. But outside of that, she gave
the most famous artist. Oh yeah, this. Okay.
Yeah, she gave Africans a platform, which is better. Because think about it like this. If you were in production, or today she even emailed us on this page and she was like, I would like to come on your platform, would you refuse?
I mean, just because of the fame, but I mean, for the club.
That's the issue. But that's the issue. You look at it at a monetary perspective. You're not making the millions that you would make from being signed on her album or having a feature. Is it fair to tell people they shouldn't get that money?
No. Because I mean, it also depends. Like, if she's coming to the platform just to bring us clout, then maybe not necessarily. But if she wants to have a serious discussion about like Kenyan culture, not just African culture, because I can't really say I know full African culture. I've only visited like 4 African countries.
Yeah.
So, like, it'd be a different situation. But I get what you mean. I mean, she's bringing recognition, but like she could do it in a more respectful way.
I agree.
More of like appreciation for Africa culture in America. That's what she's like. That's what she's doing.
Yeah.
African culture in a sense for all Africans. Because it happens like I feel you just put me in a situation where like I think what we do is like the same thing the white man does to the blacks, and the same thing the black are doing to us is what the white man did to them. Because they'll be like, oh, we put 4 Africans, so it's African. It's the same thing as the white man saying, oh, we put 4 black people, so it's diverse. And it's just like,
wow, okay, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I get that.
It's the same type of thing of how it's like, oh, but we have these guys here. I was like, oh, I have an African friend, so how can I hate Africans? You know. So it's one of those things that we really have to have like a lot of self-reflection and understand what would be the most respectful way to exchange cultures.
Yeah.
It's hard because I mean with Africans we do exchange our cultures easily between Africans.
Yeah.
I think it's just how we show respect. But if these are African Americans, you have no respect because you don't think we show them respect that they deserve. Because we don't.
But it's a two-way street, I think, because I've lived there. I feel like also the people I interacted with and the people I lived with, a lot of them would say we've never been shown the same amount of respect, or they try to set barriers so that we don't even have interactions where we can have conversations on how to show each other respect. So I don't think we've reached a point where there are forums where it's 100% honest, you know. So I think that's the first step to getting to a point where we can say, how are we going to have a cultural exchange that benefits both of us?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on our Instagram page.
Definitely, man. Cheers for watching.